Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where we do painting tutorials. Today I have a very easy beginner friendly sunset painting or sunrise, depends on how you view it. So I start by taping down my paper onto my desk, that way it stays flat as I paint, and I start by coloring the bottom of my page with some pink. The exact shade is Middle Purple Pink by Faber Castell, but I bought this pencil open stock just because I saw it on their website and I thought it looked pretty. Feel free to use absolutely any pink you have. Once I have colored the bottom, I also do some diagonal thick lines that come down sort of like angles upon angles upon angles, if that makes any sense. Well, it's just easier to show you this part. And then in between of them, I go with some Phtalo blue, which is a very nice, bright, yet saturated blue color. And like I said, I just fill in everything else with it. I'm just going to use these two colors, a pink and a blue. Then I take my watercolor brush and I will be using my reservoir brush because it's just one of my favorite brushes of all time to use with watercolor pencils because it provides a constant water flow, and since watercolor pencils tend to dry very fast, this helps. I first go over all of the pinks, then clean my brush and then go over the blues. I'm keeping them separate for now. Once I have activated the pinks and then the blues, I go from the top upwards. I try to clean my brush onto the napkin as I switch between the two colors, just so I do not end up with a solid purple sky. And just very lightly where the two of them meet, I go over with my brush just on those areas where the blue meets the pink. That way it gets a very nice soft diffused look. And I'm going to add some shadows, some more saturated areas by rubbing my brush onto my pink pencil, and I'm going to apply wherever I get on my brush's tip beneath these pink lines. They're going to be our clouds, spoiler. So I'm just rubbing the brush onto the pink and then I apply it beneath the clouds because clouds are usually darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. This is how we get that darker bottom. Then I thoroughly clean my brush and I go on the top of the clouds because with a clean and pretty much dry brush, since I'm tapping it onto the napkin, you lift off the color, thus making the paper, or it should make the paper white, which is our highlight, because the top of clouds is usually white and fluffy. So I just very lightly go on top of them. And another thing you can do, if you cannot regulate yourself with your brush, just take the napkin, fold it onto a nice corner, make a nice crease, and tap it on top. This is another way to use the lifting off technique, which is also going to give you some very nice white edges, but they tend to be a bit more sharp than if you were to use the brush technique. Once everything has dried, I take my black pencil from the same set and I just do a very simple city skyline. I just do some boxes, some bigger boxes, some smaller boxes, bigger rectangles, smaller rectangles. That's just how buildings work. But if drawing is not your thing, there is going to be a traceable available over at my Patreon page, Sunshine Arts, where we also do full-time painting tutorials and I offer digital downloads. So if you'd like to further support me and the channel, links are going to be available down in the description along with all of the art supplies I have used throughout this video. Once I finish my skyline, I just very thickly color it in with some black. Alternatively, feel free to use like a black Sharpie marker or a black fine liner. Just make sure your fine liner is on the thicker side because you don't want to waste it, or even a Posca marker, acrylic paint, ink, anything you have that is black is going to work. I just want to put something very simple beneath the sky, so it sort of balances each other out and makes a very cute composition. I don't know, I just like how it ended up looking. Once I finish coloring all of my buildings, I'm very lightly going to tap on top of them with a pretty much dry brush. When I say pretty much dry, I've done this example on previous tutorials on my channel. If you take your brush and you tap it onto your hand and it leaves a little droplet, it is too wet. It should not leave a droplet. That is when it's perfect. And you tap on top of the buildings to activate the black, if you've used the black watercolor pencil like me, which is going to make it a bit more saturated and a bit more vibrant. It's just going to smooth it out and make it pop. If you use too much water, it's going to dilute and you're going to end up with weird gray buildings instead. Lastly, I just slowly peel off the tape in the opposite direction, and that is it. I like to give a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters for the month of January, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye bye!